Am I the antagonist for expecting my 7-year-old stepson to clean his own room and do his own laundry before doing extra fun things during the week? Our 7-year-old, who is technically my stepson, has a designated laundry day on Mondays and is expected to clean his bedroom on Wednesdays. On Wednesdays, he gets out of school early, and we usually encourage him to start his laundry on Sundays, although he prefers waiting and starting it on Mondays. The rule we have for these chores is that if he doesn't finish them by the assigned day, he has to stay in his room until they're done the next day. He can still attend sports practices, but we don't engage in any additional activities like watching a movie or going to the park until he completes his tasks. I should note that these chores don't take him long when he puts in effort and focuses, unless he purposely delays. Anyway, his mom called and wanted to watch a movie with him tonight. Since she lives in another state, it would be a virtual activity where both of them start watching the same movie simultaneously. We told them they could watch the movie after dinner if he finishes his laundry when he comes home from school. He avoided doing it last night, which led to this situation. She got upset because she has plans later tonight and the only available time for them to do it is right after school. We suggested she could call and talk to him while he works on his laundry, but he couldn't watch the movie until his chores were done. She asked if they could do it tomorrow instead, and my husband agreed, but only if he cleans his room first. She became upset, claiming it's unreasonable to expect a 7-year-old to do his own laundry and clean his own room, arguing he should have fun and be a kid. She also felt it was unfair that we were preventing them from spending time together. For the record, we have tried to establish regular times for them to do things together, but she would stop following the schedule after a couple of weeks. Sometimes she wouldn't contact him for weeks. This is one of those instances where she hasn't been in contact for weeks and suddenly wants to do something with him. Additionally, they don't even talk during a movie. So having him talk to her on the phone while doing his chores would actually provide them with more bonding time. So, are we wrong for expecting our 7-year-old to complete his chores before engaging in extra fun activities during the week, even if it's with his mom? It is reasonable to expect a 7-year-old to have some basic chores like doing their laundry and cleaning their room. These tasks are age-appropriate and can help teach responsibility and discipline. It seems like you have a clear system in place, and your stepson is aware of the consequences if he doesn't complete his tasks on time. Furthermore, you have tried to set up regular times for his mom to spend time with him, but she has not consistently followed through. It is unfair for her to expect you to prioritize their time together when she hasn't been actively involved for weeks. Allowing her to talk to him while he does his chores is a reasonable compromise, and actually provides more bonding time than simply watching a movie together. It's important to establish routines and expectations, and it seems like you and your husband are doing a good job in that regard. Am I the antagonist for insulting my father's girlfriend and telling her to get out of our lives? My mother was my world. I remember reading books, watching documentaries, and going on road trips with her. She baked my sister and I cookies whenever we were sick. Her and Dad would take us hiking every other week. I still miss her even now. When I was 11 years old, she passed away from a driving accident. It was the hardest year in my life, and it hasn't gotten easier. 2 years after she passed, my father started dating a woman named Nicole, and 4 years later, they're getting married. Nicole is younger than my father. After dating Nicole, I saw my father come back into his shell, but it turned into something else. Nicole brought adventure back into his life, but they often went on elaborate trips and frequent nights out. During all of this, I felt neglected. My father slowly stopped taking my sister and I on our weekly hikes. He started speaking less and less over calls, and he even once forgot my mother's birthday. After she came into our lives, I started losing my father. He just wasn't there anymore. One time when my sister and I were home alone, she fell down the stairs and got a huge cut on her forehead. It was clear she needed stitches, so I called my father immediately. Nicole answered the phone and I told her to give the phone to my father. She refused, saying he was busy, and before I could get another word in, she disconnected the call. I embarrassingly had to ask the neighbor to bring us to urgent care where my dad later met us. This woman at one point removed my mother's picture from the fire mantle to put up a picture of her and my dad from their trip to Washington. The thing that tipped me over was when she made my father forget about my mother's birthday. Every year, my sister and I go with our father to visit my mother on her birthday. It was an annual tradition even before Nicole entered our lives. Nicole and my father went on a trip to Florida and were supposed to be back 3 days before my mother's birthday. But because this woman is motion sick, my father decided to break the drive back into small intervals to make it easier on her. Because of this, he ended up missing our annual trip. He didn't even call us. Not even a week later, my father has the nerve to tell us about an exciting surprise. Nicole is pregnant. I get angry and tell my father you need to knock her ass up when you can't even be here for us. I then look at Nicole and tell her she is a disgusting piece of trash and to get out of our lives. My father gets angry and yells at me to go up to my room. Later, my grandfather unexpectedly came over to pick me up. My father didn't text me anything. Even as I left, he wouldn't even look at me. It's been 2 days and I'm still at my grandparents' home. I feel ashamed for saying what I said, yet I don't feel overwhelming regret. Am I the asshole? It is clear that the loss of your mother has had a profound impact on your life, and it is natural to feel a strong connection to your mother's memory and the traditions you had with her. Your outburst towards your father and Nicole may have been fueled by the built-up frustration and pain you have been experiencing. While it is understandable that you were hurt and wanted to express your feelings, it may have been more productive to have a calm and open conversation with your father about how you have been feeling neglected and the impact it has had on you. However, it is important to consider that your father may be experiencing his own grief and may have found some solace in Nicole's company. Having said that, it doesn't excuse the neglect you have been feeling, and it would be beneficial for your father to acknowledge and address these issues in order to repair your relationship. Overall, it is a complex situation, and it seems like communication and understanding are needed from all parties involved. It would be helpful to speak with a therapist or a mediator who could assist in facilitating a productive conversation between you, your father, and Nicole in order to address your feelings and work towards a healthier family dynamic. Am I the antagonist for kicking my friend out of my wedding after she manipulated me into letting her wear a pantsuit? I am a 28-year-old woman who is getting married next spring. My friends Ashley, Sandra, and Kate, who are also 28, will be my bridesmaids. Last summer, I gathered them together for drinks and gave them cute gifts to ask them to be bridesmaids. They happily agreed to stand with us on our big day. Ashley was my childhood neighbor, and I went to college with Sandra and Kate. Needless to say, we are very close and confide in each other. Now, Kate has always disliked wearing long skirts and dresses. Although she will occasionally wear them for events, she prefers skinny jeans since she believes her legs are her best feature. She takes pride in her appearance, but I believe it stems from insecurity and past bullying experiences in middle school. Since we are having a church wedding, I chose long bridesmaid dresses with cap sleeves. About 2 weeks ago, Kate called me and expressed that she could no longer be a bridesmaid. When I asked why, she revealed that she realized she identified as a trans man and did not want to present as a woman at the wedding. I reassured her that I fully accepted her decision and would be honored to have her as a bridesman wearing a suit that coordinates with our wedding colors. She started crying and thanked me for understanding. I also asked if there were any changes in name or pronouns she wanted me to use, but she declined. She requested that I keep it confidential since she plans to come out after the holidays. Just yesterday, my cousin Missy, who is my matron of honor, called me. Apparently, she is part of a weight loss group with Kate, but had never realized that Kate was the same person as Kate, Lemon's college best friend. During a recent meeting, the topic of body image came up, and Kate shared her concerns about feeling like she resembled a participant on a show called 600-Pound Life when wearing a dress. She even mentioned that she convinced her best friend, me, to let her wear a pantsuit for the wedding. Missy became suspicious when Kate mentioned details about the unique reception venue. I haven't confronted Kate yet, but I am extremely angry and it makes me want to remove her from the wedding. However, when I discussed the situation with my sister, she suggested that Kate might be genuinely questioning her gender and that I should offer support. The issue for me lies in the fact that Kate could have simply told me about her body image concerns, and I would have gladly allowed her to wear a pantsuit without any issues. She didn't need to manipulate me. It is the dishonesty that hurts me and makes me consider removing Kate from the wedding party. So would I be the asshole or wrong if I decided to remove Kate from my wedding party? In this situation, I understand why you would feel hurt and betrayed by Kate's actions. However, it is important to approach this situation with empathy and understanding. Kate is going through a significant discovery about her gender identity, which can be a challenging and emotional process. It is possible that she may not have known how to communicate her feelings effectively, which is why she resorted to misleading you. Instead of immediately jumping to the conclusion of removing Kate from your wedding party, I would suggest having an open and honest conversation with her. Express your feelings of hurt and betrayal, and give her a chance to explain her side of the story. This will help you gain a better understanding of her perspective and intentions. Considering the fact that Kate is facing a significant gender identity question, it would be more compassionate to prioritize supporting her during this time. Discuss options together, such as finding a compromise that allows her to feel comfortable and respected at your wedding. Removing her from the wedding party could further exacerbate her already difficult situation. Ultimately, it is up to you to decide what to do, but I would encourage you to approach the situation with empathy and communicate openly with Kate before making any decisions. Am I the antagonist for not helping my parents, which made them sell their house? I am a 43-year-old female and I have a younger sister who is 38 years old. My sister has a lot of issues, particularly with drugs, benzos, and potentially opioids. However, even when we were growing up, she was always the problem child. She often got into trouble and had interesting friends, which caused our parents a great deal of stress. At the age of 16, she became pregnant with a man who was almost twice her age. Our mom insisted that she terminate the pregnancy, which has caused my sister to harbor significant anger toward our parents. Then, at the age of 22, she became pregnant again and decided to move out. Since that time, she has moved in and out of different places every year. She has also stolen from our parents, who have spent a considerable amount of time and money trying to support her. My sister has 3 children. And as a result, my mom has not been able to take a vacation for over a decade because she's been constantly taking care of the kids. My sister does not fulfill her responsibilities as a parent and frequently disappears for days, leaving our mom to take care of them. I genuinely feel sorry for both my mom and my sister. Our dad had to consistently work overtime because he and my mom essentially became the kids' parents. Now, as they are getting older, in their mid-60s, they are nearing the age of retirement, but are unable to do so. I have strongly advised our parents to stop being involved, move away, and let my sister deal with her own problems. However, they have not taken my advice. I have personally had enough dealing with my sister. In the past, she even tried to flirt with my then-boyfriend, who is now my husband, during a holiday gathering. She acts in irrational ways, and her actions at work have caused our parents to lose friends who employed her. I have distanced myself from my sister as much as possible. Nevertheless, my parents called me a few months ago, asking for financial assistance. Recently, my dad suffered a heart attack and had to retire, leaving them with no income other than their old age pension. They own a condominium for retirees that they bought over a decade ago, but they are unable to move into it because they have to take care of their grandchildren. I suggested that they go live in the condominium, but they argued that they cannot do so because they are responsible for the grandkids. I informed them that I am unable to help financially, as my parents have already spent a significant amount of money on my sister, and if I were to begin supporting them, I would quickly find myself broke. Additionally, I suggested that they speak with the condo management about accommodating the grandkids, but they claimed it was not an option. My mom has been continuously calling and texting me, informing me that they are putting their house up for sale and have recently sold it. They had previously taken out a reverse mortgage on it because of my sister, but that money has now run out, and they are unable to cover the costs of taxes, insurance, utilities, etc. My mom argues that they only need $700 a month to maintain their current home, and she believes that I should be willing to help my nieces. I reminded her that she used to have everything paid off and be prepared for retirement, but supporting my sister has drained their retirement savings, and I refuse to involve myself in the situation. Nevertheless, she continues to contact me, insisting that I have a responsibility to my nieces despite my dislike for my sister. I do have the financial means to assist, as both my husband and I are engineers. However, I have made the decision to detach myself entirely from my sister's affairs, including the welfare of her children. Am I the asshole for adopting this stance? It is understandable that you have reached a breaking point after witnessing the negative impact your sister's actions have had on your parents' finances and well-being. Furthermore, it is important to prioritize your own financial stability before extending help to others, especially when there has been a pattern of mismanagement and dependency. It may be beneficial to communicate to your parents that you are willing to support them directly, but not your sister's destructive behavior. Ultimately, the decision is yours, but it is essential to consider your own boundaries and priorities in this situation. Would I be the antagonist for not wanting a joint baby shower? I am a 25-year-old woman and I am currently 23 weeks pregnant. Throughout my life, I've been informed that it would be extremely challenging for me to conceive due to some medical issues I have. Surprisingly, my IUD fell out without my knowledge and I became pregnant within 2 weeks. This news has left me overjoyed yet scared about having this baby. The issue that has arisen involves my sister-in-law, 35 years old, who was also 20 weeks pregnant with a rainbow baby. Last year, they experienced a difficult miscarriage at 10 weeks and seemed to struggle greatly with it. Ever since my partner's family was informed of my pregnancy, it has been non-stop comparisons to her pregnancy. They constantly remind me of the difficulties they faced with her previous miscarriage, which honestly frightens me and makes me aware of all the potential complications that could arise during pregnancy. My sister-in-law is an extremely shy individual, and I can't recall her saying a single word to me during the 3 times we've been together in a room. I have tried not to take it personally, as it is likely her social anxiety that prevents her from being more interactive. However, when my mother-in-law suggested that we should have a joint baby shower due to our close due dates, I had reservations. Firstly, we hardly know each other. Secondly, this being my first and potentially last baby, as my doctors were shocked I conceived at all, I wasn't convinced it was a good idea. Meanwhile, this is her 4th child, but her first with my brother-in-law, who has no children of his own, apart from his stepchildren who are undeniably adorable, but quite energetic. I believe she and my brother-in-law should be celebrated with a baby shower, but I don't think it should coincide with mine. My mother-in-law strongly insists that I either have a joint baby shower or not have one at all. I am aware that many family members are experiencing financial difficulties, and I do not expect them to go out of their way to throw an extravagant party or provide gifts. I have emphasized this multiple times. All I desire is a small gathering with some food, which I am willing to provide along with the venue, and kind words about my unborn child. However, my mother-in-law claims that since our due dates are close, everything should happen together. This includes future birthdays, which I refuse to compromise on, as both children deserve their own special day. I'm concerned that I may be acting selfishly in this situation. I simply want some time to celebrate my own little achievement, but perhaps it would be easier to combine the baby shower with their family and have a separate one with just my own mother and brother. It just feels incredibly unfair that the timing is almost identical, and it is causing me to contemplate not having a baby shower at all. Additionally, I worry about how my sister-in-law might feel overshadowed, but at the same time, all that attention might overwhelm her. I'm at a loss for what to do and feeling lost. Would I be in the wrong here? Your concerns are valid, and it's understandable that you want to have a separate baby shower to celebrate your own pregnancy. It's important to have individual moments to celebrate and appreciate your own journey. Your mother-in-law's insistence on a joint baby shower may not consider your feelings and may overshadow your experience. It's also important to consider your sister-in-law's feelings, but given her shy nature and lack of communication with you, it might be difficult to gauge her reaction. You can try reaching out to her to discuss the situation and see if she has any concerns or preferences. At the end of the day, it's okay to prioritize your own needs and feelings in this situation, especially since you have specific reasons and risks associated with your pregnancy. Would I be the antagonist if I let my partner instead of my mother inherit my half of the house if I die? My partner, who is 32 years old, and I, who am 27 years old, are currently in the process of buying a house. According to UK inheritance law, if an unmarried individual passes away without children, their estate goes to their parents. Common law marriage is not recognized. We have a floating deed of trust in place, but I also mentioned to my mother, who is 54 years old, that I plan on writing a will so that my partner can inherit my portion of the house if I die. She became upset and argued that she deserves to inherit it because she raised me, and it wouldn't be fair if my partner got everything. When I asked her how she would receive her share if the money is tied up in the house, she said she would force a sale, which would leave my partner without a home. All I want is for my partner to be able to stay in the house if something happens to me. She also claimed that if my partner were to pass away before me, his mother would make me sell the house to pay her off. However, I know this wouldn't happen because his family has always held on to inherited properties and allowed other family members to live in them without charge. For example, his aunt still resides in his grandparents' house, even though it was supposed to be sold and divided among 8 children upon their passing. Later, she changed her mind and suggested that she wouldn't compel my partner to sell the house, but instead, he would have to pay her the amount I invested in cash. I am contributing £90,000, while he is contributing £50,000. It would be impossible for him to pay her off without selling the house. She then went on to say that he might attempt to harm me to gain full ownership of the house. My mother argues that she deserves to inherit my estate if I die because she raised me, provided for me as a child, and paid for my extracurricular activities while I was growing up. She believes it's unfair if I leave everything to someone else without considering her sacrifices. She also mentions that my parents are struggling, but in reality, they own 2 properties worth over £1 million in total. Currently, my partner and I are living with my parents and paying below market value rent. We are funding everything for the house from our own savings, and neither of our families are contributing financially. My parents need to come up with £70,000 within the next 2 years to cover my brother's flight school expenses. Their plan is to sell one of their properties to fund this, but it would be convenient for them if I were to pass away before then and leave them everything. In my perspective, if my partner and I were to break up, the deed of trust would protect me financially. However, if I were to die, it wouldn't matter who gets my money to me. But I want my partner to be able to stay in the house, and if I allow my mother to inherit it, she will likely force my partner to sell his home. In her eyes, I am leaving £90,000 to someone I've only known for a few years, versus leaving it to her, whom I have known my entire life. Additionally, it's worth mentioning that in our home country in Asia, if a child passes away before their parents, the parents are entitled to a share of the estate, along with the spouse and children. Would I be in the wrong here? Based on the information provided, you are not the asshole in this situation. You are simply trying to protect your partner's interests in case something happens to you. It's understandable that you want your partner to be able to stay in the house if you were to pass away, and it's your choice to leave your estate to whomever you see fit. Your mother's reaction seems selfish and unfair. While she may have raised you and supported you, it does not give her an automatic claim to your assets. It's important to prioritize your own wishes and the well-being of your partner. It's also worth noting that your mother's argument about your partner's mother making you sell the house seems unfounded, as you have mentioned that his family tends to keep inherited properties and allow others to live in them. Ultimately, it's your decision to make, and it's important to stand by what you believe is right for yourself and your partner. Consider discussing this matter with your partner and a legal professional to ensure that your wishes are legally protected and that your partner will be able to stay in the house if anything were to happen to you. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.